hearty congratulations to the new graduates of the University of Toronto.
You have worked hard, and today is your sweet and just reward. We salute you.
The puppet, as an animated metaphor of life, has its origins in deep antiquity. There are ancient traditions in every continent, such as in Mali, West Africa, where we worked with some of the puppeteers still steeped in the ancient traditions.
But in the 1980s, when we began Handspring Puppet Company in South Africa, the art form had been downgraded to a cute TV distraction or an entertainment at uncool children's birthday parties.
We knew that if we wanted to make a living as puppeteers, the company founders were going to have to work against the odds.
Our parents were worried. We bought a truck and fitted it out as a caravan. We intended to make a show and tour it to the small towns of the country. On the eve of taking delivery of the truck, my dad said to me, "You know, you can still pull out now."
Against this context, we began an apprenticeship of 5 nomadic years, ranging around the schools of Southern Africa in a truck equipped with bunks, a fridge and a stove, as well as all our puppets.
But in 1985, we shifted gear, producing a play for adults that dealt with sensitive themes. 2 middle-aged white lesbian lovers encounter a black, wounded freedom fighter on their isolated farm. Episodes of An Easter Rising brought together themes never seen before in South African theatre: humanity in the context of queer and political issues. Puppets were breaking boundaries that hadn't been crossed in human theatre.
Over our careers, we have discovered many new ideas. Today, we would like to share with you 3 discoveries that we think are seminal.
Breathing. Breathing is the essential means by which any puppet must use to claim life. It seems crazy to us now, but breath had been neglected in puppetry arts. People assumed that the audience would never notice tiny micro movements such as breathing. We discovered that by enrolling the audience as expert observers of the action of the play, we could spark more focused engagement with the puppet's life. There was no better way to introduce the puppet in its epic struggle to survive than through the various rhythms, the non-verbal language of breath.
We have also learned of the capacity of puppets to portray the lives of animals. That is, animals as ontological beings, not humans in disguise. This learning emerged in the creation of 3 plays where animals took center stage. First was the Chimp Project, in which a chimp was taught human sign language. The next, Tall Horse, focused on a wild giraffe's trajectory from the African savannah to the French court in the early 19th century. The third, a farm horse, which became a war horse in the First World War. In each case, a real animal is set center stage in a drama. Animals as animals, cited in the center of theater for humans, we believe was something original for the stage.
Finally, we've recognized the potential for puppetry to break out of the theatre completely.
This outdoor work began in the rural town of Barrydale in South Africa's semi-desert Karoo. It started with an annual parade that rapidly developed into an outdoor performance.
What became the most interesting aspect of these annual ventures was that the year-long process that led up to each show. Puppetry became the motivator for thinking about both contemporary life in the town of Barrydale and for reimagining its past. Research into slavery, wildlife management, and the local ecology became the focus of youth education. A generation of rural children has engaged with animal studies, race, history, research, theatre production, and public speaking.
Some at the Jackman Humanities Institute of this university will know that many young people's lives have been altered in this process. And now, thanks to the University of the Western Cape, more than 50 young people from Barrydale are in tertiary education in Cape Town. the first in their families.
But it was with little Amal, who by great coincidence is here with us today in Toronto this week, that this idea of outdoor performance really took off.
Amal is a 3.5-meter tall little refugee girl from Syria. 2 years ago, despite COVID, she walked 8,000 kilometers across Europe, and her journey from Turkey to Manchester has taken us all by surprise.
Her outsized scale makes her visible in crowds. The fact that she doesn't speak means that anyone watching must read her thoughts from her movements.
She is clearly a construction, yet children constantly want to be touched by her, and adults bring her flowers, handing them to her whilst looking deep into her resin eyes.
In Coventry, towards the end of that journey, the puppeteers were assembling Amal behind a wall. She was watched over by a policewoman, part of the team of her colleagues monitoring the crowd that day. She saw the puppeteer put on stilts. She saw the puppet's arms being attached to her torso. She saw the torso lowered onto the stilt walker. She saw the whole construction stand up. The eyes blinked once or twice, and suddenly she was whole and walking.
Amal paused, turned, placed her hands on the shoulders of the watching policewoman, who, despite her uniform, dissolved in tears.
We are still exploring what happened in that moment, the meaning of drama, the magic of theatre, the suspension of disbelief.
So puppet theatre has taught us, as we in turn have taught others, about the life of objects and respect for all things, mineral, vegetable, animal and human. It's been rewarding bringing animals qua animals to the center of theatrical events. It has been equally rewarding to revitalize street theater in a time of mass pandemic when all the theaters closed down.
What started in a marginal and neglected area has rewarded us in ways we could never have dreamed. So, extrapolating from what has been a wonderful journey of discovery, we would say to you,
do not be afraid to pursue the marginal, unhip, or financially unpromising.
Ignite a need. Create a new market. Take risks.
Out of the shadows can come great innovation.
Out of the margins, an explosive vision can emerge.
Out of the occluded, love and humanity can find expression.
2 eccentric queers from the southern tip of South Africa went on such a journey, and the journey continues.
With humility and deep respect, we gratefully accept these honorary doctorates.
We learnt from our experiences, not knowing where we were going, but always standing on the shoulders of those who came before, particularly the Bunraku puppeteers of Japan and the Bamana puppeteers of Mali.
We have followed the conviction that we had from the outset, namely that the puppet has its own unique power of expression.
Through experience, we believe that the empathy machine that is the puppet can serve humanity shoulder to shoulder with the world's major arts.
Thank you.
Thank you.